The moment I saw the tablet's screen flare to life, my world shattered. 20 names etched in cold digital precision. Men my wife Elise had betrayed me with each entry, a dagger twisting deeper into the trust I'd built over 15 years. Torin Cade. My brother in all but blood stared back from the list his name, a wound that bled betrayal so raw I could barely breathe. I stood frozen in our penthouse, the echo of last night's gala laughter mocking me, my reflection in the glass, a stranger with hollow eyes. This wasn't just a marriage undone. It was my life, my empire, my heart ruptured in a single click, and I knew I'd never be whole again. Before we dive into today's story, take a moment to share where you're tuning in from. We love seeing how our stories connect people from all around the world. Your comments and thoughts bring this community to life, and we're so grateful to have you on this journey with us. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a new story. Now, grab a cozy seat, maybe a cup of coffee or tea, and prepare yourself for a tale that will captivate your heart from beginning to end. Let's begin. The air in our Coconut Grove penthouse was thick with jasmine, a cloying sweetness that clung to my skin like a lie. It was April 2025, and the charity gala I was hosting buzzed with Miami's elite, their laughter ricocheting off glass walls that framed a neon skyline, pinks, blues, and purples pulsing like a living circuit board. I'm James Carter, a cybersecurity tycoon whose company CarterSec guards the digital secrets of the world's most powerful. My tailored tuxedo felt like a second skin armor for navigating the sea of senators, hedge fund titans, and biotech moguls swirling around me, crystal flutes clinking in their hands. But my eyes kept drifting to Elise, my wife of 15 years, a vision in her emerald gown that caught the chandelier light like a flame. She glided through the crowd, her dark hair cascading in waves, her smile a perfect blend of warmth and command, a biotech star at Vitalize, whose charm outshone the room. Yet something was off. Her quick, guarded glances at her phone, her fingers tightening around the device before slipping it into her clutch, snagged my attention like a glitch in my code. I'd seen her work a room before, but this was different, furtive, almost desperate. I nodded to a senator, shook hands with a venture capitalist, my public face a mask of control, but those glances gnawed at me, a bug I couldn't debug. Our children Lila 14, with her obsession for coding and circuit boards, and Ezra 11, who sketched boats and dreamed of the sea, were upstairs tucked away from the champagne-fueled deals unfolding below. I envied their absence, their innocence shielded from the undercurrents I was starting to sense. Elise laughed at a biotech CEO's joke, her hand grazing his arm, but her eyes flicked to her phone again, a reflex she couldn't hide. My stomach tightened, a warning I couldn't name. I excused myself from a conversation about quantum encryption, my smile tight, and moved toward her, intending to ask if she was okay. But a socialite intercepted me, gushing about CarterSec's latest contract, and by the time I broke free, Elise was across the room, her phone out once more, her brow furrowed in a way that didn't match her laughter. The gala's energy pulsed on, oblivious to my growing unease, the skyline's neon, a silent witness to the fracture I felt, but couldn't see. Hours later, the last guests departed their limos, vanishing into Miami's neon haze. The penthouse was quiet, save for the faint hum of the city beyond the glass. Elise had slipped upstairs, claiming exhaustion, her kiss on my cheek. Perfunctory, her emerald gown already shed for silk pajamas. I lingered in the living room. The chandeliers dimmed my bourbon glass empty on the coffee table. Something about her phone glances wouldn't let go a splinter in my mind. I wandered into her study, a sleek space of mahogany and glass that reflected her polished exterior but cluttered with chaos stacks of biotech journals. Nature and Cell spilling across the desk, a contrast to her curated image. My fingers brushed a stack, dislodging a sleek obsidian tablet, its surface cold, heavier than it looked. It wasn't her usual iPad. This was something else. Something hidden. A biometric lock glowed on the screen, a challenge to anyone but me. I'd hacked her phone's thumbprint months ago for a security test, a precaution for Carter sex protocols. Guilt flickered, but curiosity burned hotter. I pressed my thumb to the sensor, the lock yielding with a soft click. The screen flared, and my breath caught a punch to the gut that left me reeling. A digital ledger filled the display, meticulously organized, each entry, a blade, 20 names, all men from Vitalize, with dates, locations, and cryptic codes. Cassian Vale, CEO, 312-24 Yacht Deck, 11:45 p.m. V3. Robert Quillian, VP 6, 824 Conference Suite, V1. And then, like a knife to the heart, Torrin Cade, 12:15-23. Torrin's Loft, 2:00 a.m. V2. Torrin, my friend since high school, my brother in all but blood who'd stood by me at my wedding, laughed with me at Lila's birthdays, shared beers on my yacht. 2 years of affairs catalogued with chilling precision, each entry, a betrayal that carved away the life I'd built. My reflection in the floor-to-ceiling window was a stranger jaw, clenched, eyes hollow. The man who engineered an empire, now staring at its ruins. The tablet's weight in my hands was unbearable, the weight of a marriage collapsing, a structure I'd thought unbreachable. My knuckles whitened, rage simmering beneath my tuxedo, a fire I could barely contain. Torrin's name burned worst, a wound so raw I could hardly breathe. I saw us at 18 sneaking beers by the Miami docks, promising to have each other's backs. At Lila's 10th birthday, his arm around my shoulder grinning as she blew out candles. Now his name on Elise's list, a traitor in my inner circle. My mind raced, replaying her phone glances, her late nights at Vitalize, the excuses I'd swallowed, board meetings, client dinners. How had I missed this? I was the man who traced digital footprints for governments, yet my own home was a blind spot. The cryptic codes V3, V2 nagged at me, hinting at something beyond affairs, a puzzle my hacker's brain was wired to solve. The gala's laughter echoed in my memory, mocking my naivety. The skyline's pulse, a taunt to my shattered trust. My chest heaved, each breath a struggle, as I gripped the tablet tighter, its edges biting into my palms. This wasn't just betrayal. It was a system failure, a rupture that tore through my marriage, my friendship, my identity. I set the tablet down, my hands trembling not with fear but with a cold, focused fury. One question throbbed in my skull. What else was Elise hiding? I pocketed the tablet, my resolve hardening like steel. I'd find out no matter the cost, and whoever was on that list, Cassian, Torrin, all of them would face the consequences of crossing me. The hum of my server room's cooling units wrapped around me like a cocoon, the blue glow of monitors casting jagged shadows across my face as I hunched over the keyboard in our Coconut Grove penthouse. It was 2 a.m. April 2025, and Miami's skyline pulsed beyond the glass walls, its neon pinks and blues a mocking reminder of the gala's glitter just hours ago. Elise slept upstairs, her emerald gown draped over a chair like a discarded lie, oblivious to the obsidian tablet on my desk, its secrets spilling out after I cracked its 256-bit encryption. My hands trembled as I scrolled through the ledger, 20 names, dates, locations. Cassian Vale Vitalizes CEO Yacht Deck, 3/12/24, V3. Torin Cade. My friend since high school, Torin's Loft 12/15/23, V2. 2 years of Elise's affairs catalogued with surgical precision, each entry a fresh cut to my soul. A folder slipped from the desk, spilling a photo of Torin and me at Lila's 10th birthday, his arm around my shoulder, grinning like the brother I never had. The memory burned a wound deeper than Elise's betrayal, my chest tightening with fury I could barely contain. I'm James Carter, the man who locks down secrets for the world's elite, but my own life was a breached vault. My fingers flew across the keyboard, hacking Vitalize's servers with Carter-Sec's tools, turning my empire against my wife. Encrypted emails surfaced Elise and Cassian, plotting stock spikes tied to a merger with NextGen, a rival biotech firm. Coded phrases V3 secure the merger hinted at a takeover, her affairs a strategic play, not just lust. My breath hitched, the scope of her deception widening like a virus. Then a twist that stopped me cold, Torin's name in a NextGen email. Not just an affair, but a player in their scheme. His betrayal now corporate, not just personal. The photo mocked me, his grin a lie I'd trusted for decades. My hands shook not from fear, but a rage so raw it felt like fire in my veins. I saved backups to a quantum-encrypted drive, sliding it into a false-bottomed drawer, my mind a firewall against the pain. Lila's face flashed in my thoughts, her tech-savvy spark at 14. Soldering circuits in her room, Ezra 11. Sketching our yacht, his quiet dreams of the sea. Their futures were at stake, if Vitalize fell to NextGen jobs and stability crumbling. Elise's late nights, her boardroom marathons replayed in my head, lies I'd swallowed while building Carter-Sec. The server room's sterile hum felt like a cage trapping my fury, but my hacker's brain was already mapping the next move. Those codes, V3, V2, nagged at me. Pieces of a puzzle I'd tear apart. The skyline flickered a warning of the war I was entering, not just against Elise, but Torin Cassian, maybe NextGen itself. My marriage was a lie, my friendship a sham, but I wasn't the man who lost control. I leaned back, sweat beating on my forehead, the monitor's glow a cold anchor. What connected Elise to NextGen's endgame? I'd rip through their servers, their lives, until I knew. The photo lay crumpled on the floor, Torin's face, a ghost I'd bury. My fingers hovered over the keyboard, ready to strike again, the rage, a steel thread weaving my resolve. This was only the beginning. The rooftop bar in Coconut Grove was a glittering stage, Miami's elite draped in designer threads, their laughter slicing through the ocean breeze that carried salt and secrets. It was the evening after I cracked Elise's tablet, April 2025, and I stood beside her, my bourbon glass cold against my palm, the skyline's neon pink-blue-violet pulsing like a warning. Elise sipped a martini, her emerald necklace glinting under the bar's ambient glow, her sapphire dress hugging her frame as she laughed with Vitalize colleagues, too bright, too polished. I'm James Carter, cybersecurity tycoon, my empire built on tracing digital footprints, but her quick glances at her phone, fingers tightening before slipping it away, were a code I couldn't crack. Last night's tablet ledger, 20 names, Cassian Vale, Torin Cade. 2 years of betrayal burned in my mind, her coded emails hinting at a NextGen takeover. I probed voice, casual but sharp. Long nights at Vitalize lately. She deflected, just boardroom marathons. You know how Cassian pushes us, but her eyes flickered a nervous tell I'd missed for years. My pulse quickened, rage simmering beneath my tailored jacket. Across the bar, Cassian Vale lounged in a VIP booth, his silver cufflinks catching light, his gaze locked on us with a deliberation that chilled my spine. His name on the list yacht deck 3/12/24 felt like a brand. His silver hair and smug grin a taunt. My smartwatch buzzed at 10:17 p.m., a text flashing, "Stop digging, or your empire falls." My tracing software, the heart of CarterSec, failed to pinpoint the source, a first in 20 years. The bourbon's burn steadied my unease, my mind racing. Torin's next-gen email, Cassian's stare, now this untraceable threat. The signal's sophistication pointed to a hacker in my league, someone who knew I'd breached the tablet. Elise adjusted her necklace fingers, trembling a tick that screamed guilt. Did she know about the threat? The bar's EDM pulsed, drowning my thoughts. The crowd execs, socialites, a web of potential enemies. I scanned the room, every smile a mask, every glance a possible strike. Lila's coding projects. Ezra's yacht sketches their futures hung in the balance if my empire crumbled. The skyline's glow was a challenge, Miami's elite a jury in this brewing war. I pocketed my phone, resolve hardening like steel. Whoever sent that text, whatever Cassian knew, I'd arm myself, tear through their firewalls, and expose the truth no matter the cost. The hum of my server room's cooling units was a low drone, the blue glow of monitors casting sharp shadows across my face as I sat in our Coconut Grove penthouse, Miami's skyline looming through tinted glass. It was late April 2025, days after the rooftop bar's chilling text, "Stop digging, or your empire falls," and my nerves were raw frayed by Elise's betrayal and the untraceable threat. I'm James Carter, cybersecurity tycoon, my empire built on locking down secrets, but my own life was unraveling. Nix Delgado. The private investigator I'd hired stood before me, her leather jacket and pierced brow, a stark contrast to the room's sleek tech, her gravelly voice cutting through the silence. Her secure app pinged, delivering photos Elise, in a tailored black suit, slipping into a downtown Miami high-rise Next-Gen's logo, gleaming on its facade, an earpiece crackling as she whispered to an unseen ally. Armed guards at the entrance, their eyes scanning the street, screamed high stakes, a world of corporate espionage I hadn't anticipated. Nix confirmed it was a secret board meeting unlisted on Vitalize's schedule, her bluntness grating, but her competence a lifeline. The photos revealed Elise's affairs, Cassian Vale, Torin, Cade. 18 others were a cover for a next-gen takeover of Vitalize. Her liaisons a calculated play to secure allies. My rage simmered, my fists clenching, as I realized her betrayal wasn't just personal, but a power grab that could gut Vitalize and thousands of jobs. I reviewed the images at 2 a.m., my coffee cold, the skyline's neon pinks and blues, a cold backdrop to my burning anger. Nix's dark eyes assessed me. Warning tread carefully, Carter. You're not the only one watching. The anonymous threat echoed a ghost in my system tied to Cassian's stare or Torin's next-gen email. I saved her files to my quantum-encrypted drive, each click a step toward trapping Elise, but the question gnawed who was watching me. Lila's coding projects. Ezra's yacht sketches their futures hung in the balance if Vitalize fell. The server room's hum felt oppressive, my firewall holding, but my marriage in ruins. Cassian's cufflinks, Elise's nervous tick flashed in my mind, pieces of a puzzle I'd tear apart. I dismissed Nix, her leather creaking as she left, and leaned back the skyline a battlefield. My rage was a cold engine driving me to strike next, but the threat's shadow loomed. Who was out there waiting to pounce? The Coconut Grove Ballroom was a dazzling cage chandeliers casting prisms across marble floors as Miami's elite swirled in tuxedos and gowns, their champagne flutes clinking like coded signals. It was late April 2025, and the Vitalize Gala pulsed with power plays, a glittering facade hiding the rot I'd uncovered. I'm James Carter, cybersecurity tycoon, my tailored tuxedo, a thin shield against the rage burning since Elise's tablet revealed 20 affairs, Cassian, Vale, Torin, Cade, a ledger of betrayal tied to a next-gen takeover. Elise glided beside me, her crimson gown a beacon, her perfume cloying as we danced, her smile a mask I now saw through. My fingers steady, despite my pounding heart, slipped a pin-sized bug, my own Carter Sec design, into her clutch, its tech undetectable. Her touch, once warm, now felt like a lie, her list searing my mind. I retreated to a shadowed alcove, earpiece crackling, as the bug caught Elise with Cassian in a secluded corner. Stock spikes, post-merger. We're set. Her voice low, confident, plotting insider trading for next-gen's takeover of Vitalize. My pulse raced the skyline's neon glow through the glass walls, a taunt to my fractured world, Nix's photos of Elise's secret meeting flashing in my head. A hand gripped my arm, jolting me. Torin Cade, his face pale, eyes haunted, pulled me into a side room, its dim light casting long shadows. He confessed, voice-breaking, that Elise blackmailed him into silence about her affairs using compromising photos from their loft rendezvous last December. His hands shook a champagne glass, shattered outside, punctuating his fear. He wasn't a willing traitor, but his name on her list, his next-gen email, cut deeper than Elise's lies. My jaw clenched, torn between pity for his coercion and fury at his weakness. Torin whispered. Someone else at Vitalize knows you're digging, amplifying the anonymous text's threat. Stop digging, or your empire falls. The gala's opulence, gilded mirrors, velvet drapes felt suffocating, a veneer over corruption. I saw Lila's coding projects, Ezra's yacht sketches, their futures at risk if next-gen won. Torin's haunted gaze lingered as I left him vowing to expose Elise's game, even if it meant torching our friendship. The ballroom's music swelled, but my resolve was a cold fire, the skyline a call to war. I'd tear through her lies no matter who fell with her. The Coconut Grove Park was a deceptive haven, palm trees swaying under a dawn sky as I sat on a weathered bench, my burner laptop's screen casting a faint glow. It was early May 2025, and Miami's skyline reflected the first light, a false calm masking the war I'd waged since finding Elise's tablet of 20 affairs. I'm James Carter, cybersecurity tycoon. My empire built on precision, but her coded emails and next-gen's takeover plot had shattered my world. Using a VPN to mask my IP, I sent encrypted files to Vitalize's board, Nix Delgado's photos of Elise's secret meeting, bug audio of her insider trading with Cassian Vale server, emails, tying her to the scheme. My fingers trembled with anticipation, each click a strike against her lies. By 8:03 a.m., my phone pinged. A company-wide email announced Cassian's suspension, the skyline mirrored in my screen as triumph surged. But Nix's report landed like a gut punch. Elise had framed Isolde Wren, a junior exec, with forged emails to deflect blame. Isolde's file revealed a single mother, her photo radiating defiance, her life crushed by Elise's ruthlessness. Guilt gnawed at me, My leak had caused collateral damage, but Lila and Ezra's futures drove me on. Back in my server room, monitors flickered an alert, chilling my blood. Someone hacked my system, locking me out. The hacker's digital signature matched the rooftop bar's threat. "Stop digging, or your empire falls no longer a bluff." Panic spiked, sweat soaking my shirt as I scrambled to restore access with a backup key. The cooling units hum a mocking drone. Access regained, but the breach shook me, my empire vulnerable. Elise remained untouched, her charm shielding her at Vitalize, the board's probe not yet reaching her. The park's palm trees swayed a hollow calm as Nyx's warning, "You're not the only one watching," echoed. Torin's haunted confession. Cassian's stare, the tablet's codes. They swirled in my mind, a puzzle I'd solve at any cost. The skyline's dawn glow was a deadline, my war now against Elise Next Gen and an unseen foe. I closed the laptop resolve, a steel blade. But the question burned, how close was the enemy? The soft pulse of LED lights in Lila's bedroom bathed her tech haven in a cool glow, a sanctuary of laptops and circuit boards nestled within our Coconut Grove penthouse. It was late April 2025, and my 14-year-old daughter sat cross-legged on her bed, her cracked phone screen casting stark shadows across her face. I'm James Carter, cybersecurity tycoon. But here I was just a father, my heart sinking as Lila showed me a second list of Elise's affairs hacked from her mother's cloud. Names like Quillian Holt, Vitalize's VP, glared from the screen. 1825. Vitalize Lab 30AM V4 each entry. A fresh wound expanding the betrayal beyond the 20 on Elise's tablet. Lila's voice trembled. "Why, Dad?" Her hazel eyes brimming with tears, searching mine for answers I couldn't give. I pulled her into a hug, her lavender shampoo grounding me in her vulnerability, my chest tightening with guilt for letting her see this darkness. Downstairs, Ezra 11 sensed the tension, his crayon drawing of our old family yacht left on the kitchen counter, its bright colors a plea for a life we'd lost. Elise's car keys sat untouched by the door, her absence stark. She was at another late meeting, her lies piling like wreckage. A coded note on Lila's list. Next Gen final phase chilled me, linking Elise's affairs to the takeover's endgame, a corporate plot that could ruin Vitalize. I stored her findings on my quantum-encrypted drive, my fingers steady, but my mind reeling, her tear-streaked face, a haunting mirror of my own pain. The Miami skyline beyond her window was cold, its neon pinks and blues clashing with the warmth of her room. I promised Lila we'd fix this, my voice firm, despite the weight of her trust, a countdown in my chest. Ezra's drawing Lila's tech spark, dimmed by betrayal, fueled my resolve. My role as protector warred with the fight against Elise Next Gen and the hacker who'd breached my servers. The LED lights flickered, echoing my steel resolve. I kissed Lila's forehead, leaving her to her devices, the skyline a reminder that this war was for them, but its cost was tearing us apart. The Coconut Grove Cafe was a quiet refuge, its wooden tables and soft jazz a world apart from Miami's gala glitz, the air rich with espresso and whispered secrets. It was early May 2025, and I sat across from Isolde Wren, the Vitalize exec, Elise framed to cover her tracks, her calloused hands clutching a coffee mug, her eyes blazing with defiance. I'm James Carter, cybersecurity tycoon, my empire under siege from Elise's 20 affairs and Next Gen's takeover plot. Lila's tear-streaked face from her hacked list, still haunting me. Isolde's story. Her career gutted her life as a single mother upended, mirrored my own betrayal, fueling my resolve to dismantle Elise's lies. She slid a USB drive across the table, its internal emails proving Elise's ethics violations, her voice steady but laced with pain, recounting late nights stolen by false blame. The cafe's intimacy cloaked our deal, but the door chimed, and Vesper Lane Cassian Vale's wife slipped into the booth, her Chanel scarf sliding to reveal a tense jaw. She handed me a manila envelope heavy with documents detailing Cassian's offshore accounts tied to insider trading with Elise. Vesper revealed she'd tracked Cassian's affairs for years, her evidence a gold mine, but her warning Elise is dangerous sent a chill through me, her guarded pain echoing mine. I saved the documents to my quantum-encrypted drive, my phone buzzing with a Vitalize alert. The board's investigation deepened, but Elise's allies shifted blame, her charm still a shield. Nix Delgado's text hit like a shockwave. Elise met a next-gen exec hours ago, accelerating the takeover, her affairs a smokescreen for the final phase. The jazz faded, my pulse racing, as I realized my window to strike was closing. Isolde's hands rough from years of struggle, and Vesper's slipping scarf grounded me in our shared fight, their defiance a spark for my own. The cafe's warm light felt deceptive. Miami's skyline beyond the window, a web of neon and shadows tightening around me. I nodded to Isolde and Vesper, our alliance sealed, but Nix's warning and the hacker's threat loomed. Lila's lavender scent, Ezra's yacht drawing, they drove me forward. I pocketed the envelope resolve, a cold fire, knowing this war risked everything, my kids, my empire, but retreat wasn't an option. The waterfront gala venue in Coconut Grove was a spectacle of excess, its glass walls reflecting Miami's bay waves and neon skyline pinks, blues, violets, like a digital mirage. It was early May 2025, and Vitalize's elite toasted their empire under crystal chandeliers, their laughter a veneer over the war I'd waged. I'm James Carter, cybersecurity tycoon, my tuxedo crisp, but my nerves raw from Elise's 20 affairs and Next-Gen's takeover plot, Isolde's emails, and Vesper's documents burning in my mind. Tonight I'd strike. Elise, radiant in a silver gown, charmed a biotech mogul, her poise a weapon I'd turn against her. I signaled the AV team, and a massive screen flared with doctored footage, blurred images of a woman like Elise, in compromising scenes implying her affairs. The crowd gasped, flutes frozen, mid-sip eyes darting to her. My pulse hammered a surge of triumph, but Elise recovered her voice, slicing through. He's obsessed, unstable, fabricating lies to ruin me. Her words flipped the narrative socialites, whispering execs, turning away my empire's credibility teetering. By 7:15 p.m., a courier wove through the throng, delivering a restraining order, its jargon accusing me of harassment, citing a forged email claiming I threatened Elise, a move reeking of her corporate playbook. My custody case for Lila and Ezra faltered, their faces flashing in my mind. Nix Delgado texted the anonymous rooftop threat was Torin Cade playing both sides to shield next-gen ties, his betrayal a double-edged wound deeper than his blackmailed affair. The email's metadata pointed to a Vitalize server, proving Elise's legal sabotage. The chandeliers glittered, but I was cornered, the bay's dark waves mirroring my sinking hope. I texted Zephyr Holt, my attorney, to prepare for war, my fingers shaking with rage. Lila's tech spark, Ezra's yacht sketches, they were why I fought. The skyline taunted Miami's elite, a jury swayed by Elise's charm. I slipped out the restraining order, crumpled in my fist, vowing to burn her world down. But Torin's duplicity and Elise's trap left me reeling. How many moves ahead was she? Zephyr Holt's Miami law office was a fortress of power, its marble-framed windows framing the Coconut Grove skyline, the scent of leather and citrus steadying my frayed nerves. It was mid-May 2025, and I sat across from Zephyr, my divorce attorney gripping a stress ball, its rubber yielding under my clenched fingers. I'm James Carter, cybersecurity tycoon, my empire reeling from Elise's 20 affairs, and NextGen's takeover plot, the gala's restraining order, still a fresh wound. Zephyr's sharp eyes dissected my evidence. Nix Delgado's photos of Elise's secret meeting. Vesper Lane's binders on Cassian Vale's offshore accounts. Lila's hacked second list, her pen tapping as she laid out divorce papers, citing Elise's ethics violations for custody of Lila and Ezra and maximum asset division. Her plan was ruthless serve papers at Vitalize for maximum impact, shattering Elise's elite facade. My phone buzzed. Nix's voice, urgent. She had video of Elise slipping an envelope to Judge Eamon Quill at a Coconut Grove yacht club, whispering NextGen's counting on you, tying her judicial corruption to the takeover. My pulse raced, a surge of hope. This was the kill shot, but exposing it risked my image as Carter Sec's CEO, my stock teetering. Lila's tear-streaked face, her trembling. Why Dad and Ezra's yacht drawing anchored me, their futures worth any cost. Zephyr's office felt like a war room, its polished calm, a stark contrast to Miami's elite battlefield, where Elise's charm, her silver gown's poise could still outmaneuver me. Torin Cade's betrayal, his anonymous threats, and Cassian's stare haunted me, pieces of a puzzle closing in. Nix's warning. Elise is dangerous, echoed Vespers, their pain my mirror. I clenched the stress ball, resolve, a cold steel. File the papers, I told Zephyr, my voice steady despite the dread in my gut. The skyline glinted a challenge I couldn't dodge, but Eamon's corruption and Elise's moves left me on edge. Could I outplay her in court, or would she bury me first? The Miami courthouse's stark chambers were a crucible polished wood benches gleaming under harsh fluorescent lights, the air thick with wax and tension. It was mid-May 2025, and I sat at the plaintiff's table, James Carter, cybersecurity tycoon, my tailored suit, a flimsy shield against my unraveling life. Elise sat across the aisle, her ivory silk blouse shimmering her smile, charming the gallery, Vitalize execs in crisp suits, socialites clutching designer bags, their whispers a low hum. Zephyr Holt. My attorney stood tall, her voice sharp, as she presented Nix Delgado's photos of Elise's secret NextGen meeting and Vesper Lane's binders time-stamped offshore accounts linking Elise and Cassian Vale to insider trading. My heart pounded a flicker of hope, but Judge Eamon Quill's subtle nod to Elise's lawyer, a slick pinstripe suit, sparked dread, the yacht club bribe video burning in my mind. I leaned forward, whispering to Zephyr, "He's compromised." Her eyes narrowed, countering with Torin Cade's bug audio from the gala, Elise plotting stock spikes with Cassian. The evidence was ironclad, but Elise's lawyer spun a tale of my jealousy, painting me as an unstable husband forging lies. Elise took the stand, her voice steady, eyes locked on Eamon, accusing me of fabricating evidence, claiming I was obsessed with her ruin. Eamon's faint smile, his pen pausing, hinted he was swayed, my fear-spiking custody of Lila and Ezra Carter Sec's credibility teetering. A juror's cough cut the silence, the courtroom's air suffocating. Vesper in the gallery clutched her Chanel scarf, her gaze urging me on, her pain mirroring mine. Lila's tears. Ezra's yacht drawing their futures, hung by a thread. The skyline through the windows, neon muted by day, felt distant Miami's elite, watching my life fracture. I signaled Zephyr to hold Lila's list and Nix's bribe audio, praying they'd turn the tide. My knuckles whitened on the table, Elise's charm, a blade poised to bury me in this arena where truth was fragile. The Miami courthouse chambers were a knife's edge. The air thick with anticipation as my 14-year-old daughter Lila took the stand, her braid swinging nervously, her voice cracking under the packed gallery's gaze. Vitalize execs, socialites, their eyes boring into her. It was mid-May 2025, and I, James Carter, cybersecurity tycoon, sat rigid, my heart a vice, as Lila projected her hacked second list onto a courtroom screen. More names: Quillian Holt, 1-825, Vitalize Lab, and a coded next-gen final phase tying Elise to the takeover plot. The gallery gasped a shockwave, and Elise's composure cracked her silk blouse, no shield, her hands clenching. Zephyr Holt. My attorney played Nix Delgado's flash drive, labeled Quill Evidence, its audio crackling. Elise at the yacht club, bribing Judge Eamon Quill, his voice promising a favorable ruling. Eamon's face paled, his gavel frozen. He recused himself, citing personal reasons, his exit swift as murmurs erupted. Judge Sable Thorne took over her gavel, striking sharply, dark eyes impartial, a stark shift from Eamon's bias. Lila's testimony, raw and brave, shifted. The room, socialites whispered. Execs squirmed, the tide turning. Sable demanded Elise explain the list, but her stammering denial. It's a mistake. A hack crumbled under scrutiny, her charm evaporating. I gripped Zephyr's arm, relief flooding like air after drowning Elise's gasp, echoing her empire fracturing. The courthouse, once a trap, now felt like justice's arena, the skyline through the windows neon, sparking in dusk, a backdrop to Elise's fall. Lila stepped down, her eyes meeting mine, a mix of courage and pain, her braid a symbol of strength and cost. My throat tightened, her sacrifice, scarring us both. Vesper Lane in the gallery nodded, her Chanel scarf loose, an ally in victory. Sable's gavel restored order, promising a swift ruling, the air lightening. Lila's pain lingered, a reminder justice wasn't free. Miami's elite watched, whispers now of Elise's ruin, and I braced for the final blow, my resolve steel woven with my kids' futures. The Miami sun blazed its glare, ricocheting off Vitalize Biotech's glass facade, where paparazzi swarmed their flashes like gunfire in the late May 2025 morning. I stood, my Coconut Grove penthouse. James Carter, cybersecurity tycoon, the skyline a stark frame, as my phone pinged at 9:42 a.m. A Vitalize email landed. Elise and Cassian Vale were terminated for breach of fiduciary duty. No severance, no references, their careers ashes. The SEC's probe into their insider trading screamed from my penthouse TV's news ticker, a public execution of their next-gen plot. Lila, my 14-year-old, sat sketching her pencil, scraping monochrome lines once vibrant, now stark, her silence louder than the media frenzy at Vitalize's headquarters. I pictured their boardroom, a legal battlefield stacked with Nix Delgado's photos, Vesper Lane's binders, Lila's hacked list evidence that crushed Elise's empire. Her elite status vaporized socialites, shunned her gala. Invites dried up her name, a scandal in Miami's neon circles. I retreated to my server room, monitors blue glow, steady reviewing Nix's final report. 6 employees suspended. Next-Gen's takeover dead. Vitalize's stock battered but alive. My victory forged through leaks, and Lila's courtroom courage felt hollow. Her monochrome doodles mirrored her pain, her trust in me frayed by my secrets. I texted Zephyr Holt, confirming custody papers were airtight for Lila and Ezra, but the cost gnawed Lila's innocence, traded for justice. The skyline's neon pulse, once a thrill, warned power exacts a price. Ezra's yacht drawing Lila's tech spark dimmed, but enduring kept me grounded. The server room's hum steadied me, but the paparazzi's flashes echoed in my chest. Elise's fall a bitter triumph. I closed Nix's report, the skyline a witness knowing my kid's healing was the true war one I'd fight with every breath. The faded Coconut Grove condo complex was a ghost of Miami's glamour, its peeling paint and cracked walkways a stark fall from our penthouse's glass walls. It was June 2025, and I sat across from Elise in her sparse living room, the air heavy with cheap air freshener, her unpolished nails clutching a chipped coffee mug. I'm James Carter, cybersecurity tycoon. My empire secure after dismantling Elise's 20 affairs and NextGen's takeover. But here I was, a father haunted by Ezra's tears last night, his plea for his mother echoing in my mind. Elise's eyes were hollow, her face a shadow of the gala. Star, her voice brittle as she begged forgiveness. It was strategy, not love. She confessed admitting her affairs were power plays for NextGen's control of Vitalize. Her words, raw and desperate, stirred pity, but Torin Cade's betrayal, Cassian Vale's offshore accounts, and Lila's courtroom scars smothered it. I stared at Ezra's crayon drawing of our old family yacht, taped to my planner, its waves a reminder of what we'd lost. For Ezra's sake, I agreed to supervised visits. My voice cold but steady, a nod to his heart, not hers. My phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number, Torin's area code, hinting he'd fled Miami. His social media erased his duplicity unresolved. Elise's plea faltered as she mentioned Torin, unaware I knew his role as the anonymous texter, her desperation thick in the dim light. Shadows carved her face, once radiant under chandeliers, now a ghost of Miami's elite, her retail job a final humiliation. I stood to leave the door's click final, my heart torn between Ezra's need and the betrayal's scars. The skyline outside faded to dusk, its neon muted a sign some wounds only scar, not heal. Driving home Ezra's drawing in my pocket, Lila's testimony in my memory, I knew closure was fragile. Torin's absence a thorn. The condo's decay lingered a mirror to Elise's fall, but my kid's future was my only path, a fight I'd never quit. The Coconut Grove penthouse balcony was my sanctuary. Miami's skyline glowing gold under a September 2025 sunset. The neon pulse, now a quiet hum like a system rebooted. I'm James Carter, cybersecurity tycoon, my empire secure after dismantling Elise's 20 affairs and NextGen's takeover plot. The obsidian tablet's files, her ledger of betrayal, her coded schemes were gone, erased with a single click. The screen flashing, data erased, as I released her hold. Lila's laughter echoed from her LED-lit bedroom, her tech projects thriving, circuit boards her new canvas, her spark reignited. Ezra's soccer trophy gleamed on the shelf, his smile brighter each day, his quiet strength a balm to my scars. I mentored Isolde Wren in a new cybersecurity startup, her office buzzing with logos, her calloused hands typing code, a testament to redemption beyond Miami's glitz. A gala invite sat, unopened, on my desk, its gold-embossed card, a relic of a world I'd left its chandeliers hollow compared to Lila's. Grin, Ezra's laugh. Elise worked retail across town, her condo, a shadow of our past. Her supervised visits with Ezra, a fragile thread I allowed for him. Torin Cade's absence lingered, his flight a ghost I couldn't trace, but it no longer haunted me. His betrayal, like Elise's, was ash. The jasmine air, once heavy with deceit, carried promise, mingling with sea breeze. My empire. Cartersec thrived, but I'd learned power meant nothing without trust. Lila's coding. Ezra's soccer, Isolde's startup were my legacy. Lila called Dad. "We're ready for dinner?" Her voice, a melody. I stepped inside the skyline, a canvas of resilience, its golden hue, a promise of peace. The penthouse hummed with life, my children. The only structure that mattered their futures, the code I'd protect, forever scars and all. The Coconut Grove penthouse balcony was my sanctuary. Miami's skyline glowing gold under a September 2025 sunset. The neon pulse, now a quiet hum like a system rebooted. I'm James Carter, cybersecurity tycoon. My empire, secure after dismantling Elise's 20 affairs and Next-Gen's takeover plot. The Obsidian Tablet's files, her ledger of betrayal, her coded schemes were gone, erased with a single click. The screen flashing, data erased as I released her hold. Lila's laughter echoed from her LED-lit bedroom. Her tech projects thriving, circuit boards, her new canvas, her spark reignited. Ezra's soccer trophy gleamed on the shelf, his smile brighter each day, his quiet strength a balm to my scars. I mentored Isolde Wren in a new cybersecurity startup, her office buzzing with logos, her calloused hands typing code, a testament to redemption beyond Miami's glitz. A gala invite sat unopened on my desk, its gold-embossed card, a relic of a world I'd left its chandeliers hollow compared to Lila's, Grin, Ezra's laugh. Elise worked retail across town, her condo, a shadow of our past. Her supervised visits with Ezra, a fragile thread I allowed for him. Torin Cade's absence lingered, a ghost I couldn't trace, but it no longer haunted me. His betrayal, like Elise's, was ash. The jasmine air, once bitter with deceit, carried promise, mingling with sea breeze. My empire. Cartersec thrived, but I'd learned power meant nothing without trust. Lila's coding, Ezra's soccer, Isolde's startup were my legacy. Lila called Daddy. "We're ready for dinner." Her voice, a melody. I stepped inside the skyline, a canvas of resilience, its golden hue, a promise of peace. The penthouse hummed with life, my children, the only structure that mattered their futures, the code I'd protect forever, scars and all. In the end, life's deepest wounds carve paths to truth. Betrayal. A jagged tear reveals what holds fast love, loyalty, the quiet moments that rebuild what was lost. Trust once shattered can be forged anew, not in the glare of power, but in the soft glow of connection. The city's pulse fades, but what endures is the strength to rise, to guard what matters, to find meaning in the ruins. Every choice, every scar shapes a legacy, not of wealth, but of resilience, a code written in the heart, unbreakable against time's chaos. Thank you for sharing this journey with us. Your thoughts bring these stories to life, so please leave a comment below. We'd love to hear what moved you. Subscribe and hit the bell to stay with our community, where every tale sparks connection. Until next time, keep chasing the stories that matter.